So the temperature today is, in your language, 111 degrees.
Wow.
Yeah, 44 Celsius.
That's fucking hot, isn't it?
Fuck me drunk, dude. I just walked down the street. It's fucking, and I'm sitting in front of a AC. It's like brutal. Brutal's not even adequate. It's chaos. Like old people would literally die today. It's just too hot and there's no breeze.
I might die. Well, okay, I am technically old people, but yeah, that is fucking insane.
Oh yeah, it's mental.
Oh man, that's uninhabitable. What planet
I,
is that?
I interviewed a guy this morning called Professor Chris Evans. You should check him out. You would like him.
I think I know who he is.
Who is he?
I don't know exactly that much about him, but I heard like there's a Chris Evans that's not the actor, he's actually a professor. I think I read something he wrote and I think I liked it, but I don't
Yeah.
remember it because I can't remember anything past 12 noon.
He specializes in anomalous psychology, paranormal psychology, like all the shit and he's basically a skeptic, but a nice, not a nasty, like he's a professor emeritus,
Hmm.
like super academic, published a million papers, but good personality and funny and still quite open-minded, but very, very, very critical thinker, but so good. You know how you get those guys that are super smart but not great to talk to?
Yeah. So,
Um,
what kind of stuff was he talking about?
so we spoke about, why, people believe in flat earth and why people believe in ghosts and why people believe in, and all the conspiracy stuff. And yeah, just is, what's his book called? He wrote a book called The Science of Weird Shit, I think it's called. Uh, yeah.
So, something I've always wanted to know is how is he able to lift Thor's hammer? Because that just blew
Exactly.
my fucking mind. Like, did he like give any insight to that, or is he just like too humble?
Um, I'll get back to you on that. Here we go. Enjoy the delusion. That's what it's called. I'm pretty sure. Thought-provoking. Professor Chris is a genius with an amazing ability to connect, tell stories, make super interesting. Rare. Spoke about the science of the paranormal, anomalistic psychology, psychic abilities, false memories, ghosts, haunted houses, magicians, mentalists, and his book, The Science of Weird Shit. Yeah.
Mm.
And just like not at all, like he's kind of like, I could be wrong. Like, yeah, he's not
Hmm.
aggressive. He's like, but the evidence for this or that. And we spoke about placebos and yeah, interesting.
The world needs more people like that who could just have a conversation from the perspective. I could be wrong.
Oh,
So I don't know.
and he has no, yeah. And it was
Oh,
funny. He's old British dude. I'd say he's about 70, but still sharp as fuck. And he's sitting in his house with a glass of wine, talking to me and just topping up his wine through the interview because it was like 8 o'clock at night or something. So good.
mhm. Would you prefer if I like topped up a wine in our future discussions? I could do that.
I'd love you to come on with a blunt, just fucking off your nut.
What is this? Like Joe Rogan?
I think we'd all like to see that version of you.
Oh,
If
I'm
if you're
what
not
me?
if you're not paranoid enough already, let's see that version.
Nah, more like relaxed, extremely positive. Like nothing in the world is really wrong, and dumb as a bag of fucking hammers. Like literally can't string a sentence together.
Yeah, let's get that guy. Let's do that. All right, hang on. We'll
All
kick
right,
off.
let's
Hang
do
on.
it. So excited.
I've got zero ideas, so you feel free to fucking talk, ask, fucking hijack the host chair.
All
Here we
right,
go.
cool.
I get 8 team. It's Harps and Bobby. It's a U project. It's installment one for the great man. He's back. the man that we love, who's been a an integral part of the U project for years. Let's be honest, years. He's probably done somewhere in the vicinity of, I would think, 50 to 100 shows. You know him, you love him, I love him. He's my weird little brother from another mother. His name's Robert Cappuccio. Hi, bro.
I am so happy to be back here with you and all of you. I've missed this. I've missed
Yeah,
all of us actually.
it's.
Taking a
I
little
was
bit of
thinking.
break.
I was thinking the other day how some of my friends, like my good friends, and that's you, I really, well, it's kind of situational and geographical. It's not through choice, but we do most of our connecting while we're talking to like 10,000 people. Or,
Yeah, it's
do you
just
know
me and
what I
you having to
mean?
catch up.
Yeah,
It,
it's you
it's
and me catching up with 10,000 people just sitting off to our left, just listening, and or what, however many we have, it varies. But yeah, it is a weird kind of relationship in that sense.
I
In that,
like the voyeurism.
yeah, well, there's that. And let's hope that we have conversations that are actually worth listening to this year. I think we, for the most part, did last year. So we're recording this. It's my second podcast for the day, folks. So if you go, you said that the other day. Well, that's because it's the same day for me right now. I interviewed Professor Chris Evans this morning. If you haven't heard that, listen up because he's fucking great. But it's the 7th, it's Wednesday, 7th of January, of course, 2026. And I just told young Robert that right now in our fine city by the bay down here in Melbourne, it's in the old fashioned language, the Fahrenheit language, it's about 111 degrees. Well, that's the forecast, 44 degrees Celsius. And I had to look it up. I think they used to say something like double it and add 30, double the Celsius and add 30, and that would give you a ballpark number. But let's just go with stupidly
Ballpark.
hot. Stupidly
Yeah.
hot.
I don't even know how those formulas work. I just, for the most part, just do it in my head. It's almost like operating on two different systems. It's weird, but they both make sense to me. Anyway.
Well, you've lived in countries with both, so you're kind of
Mhm.
very temperature fluent, I would say. So when I tell you 44, you don't have to think, is that hot or not? You know that's hot as fuck. So and Professor Chris, who I chatted to this morning, he said it was where he lives -1, um, but not far away from him it was -12. I'm like, how does it? It is. Imagine that. I would not cope in -12.
Now, just given the choice, -12, 44.
That is.
What would you rather be in?
I. Yeah, that's a good question. Probably 44 because, like this morning, I got up at 4:30 because I knew it was going to be stupid hot, and I started walking at 4:45. So when I started walking, it was 20 degrees. By the time I got to Caffeine Central, it was probably a balmy 23 degrees at 0600. But I kind of look back now and I've done most of my steps for the day. I've been out. I'm lucky that I'm lucky that I live on a main street. Let's put an asterisk next to that. But what it means is I can walk out the front door and I can walk in shade for like 2 kilometers. Like, because I can walk down past the shops and the bustling humanity and have shade over my head the whole time, which is a nice thing to do. It's not my ideal walking route, to be honest. But for the bloke who's had probably 15 to 20 skin cancers cut off his body, walking in the 44-degree brutal sun is probably not a great formula for me.
Hmm.
Have you ever
I
had
think I'm
skin?
like the
You ever had
opposite.
skin cancer?
Not that I know of. No, I could have it now and be undiagnosed. I should probably go.
Fucking hell! Would you go and
But
get checked?
I I
Men,
need to I need to go to the doctor
fucking
a little bit
men.
more than I do. But yeah, to my knowledge, no, I've never had skin cancer. I'm I'm the opposite where I mean I contradict myself because I've lived in hot environments. I would take cold. I would take freezing cold over scorching hot any day. I just fare better in cold weather than I do in the heat.
Yeah.
Although here's the thing. If I had to commit to it, if it's like, all right, you've got a year, I would probably take the heat. So I know in Singapore, when I first was living there, oh my days, I was miserable. I was like, I think I'm going to pass out. I felt like
Yeah.
every minute of every day was a struggle when I was outside. I mean, we didn't get to 44 degrees, but you
Yeah.
would be in the upper 30s. Like the 30s were pretty standard. Every day was exactly the same, and it was just so uncomfortably humid.
Yeah.
And then after about 6 months, I didn't care. I was
Yeah.
unaffected by it. I just
Yeah.
went out and was like, oh, it's just a normal day. So I think if I could have enough of a chance to acclimate, I think I would take the heat. But other than that, I'm a cold weather person.
Well, I mean, look, we were basing that on 44 or minus 12. If it was, say, 2 degrees, I'm choosing 2 degrees all the time
Mm,
because
good
you
point.
can rug up, you can go for a walk, you can walk in the cold and still be relatively warm, and you can come back into your home and walk around in bare feet in a 17 or 18-degree room, thermostatically controlled environment. So
Hmm.
this is probably gripping for our listeners. Hey, what did you do
We're
over?
literally talking about the weather. First
Yeah.
podcast in the new year. It's like talking. So how's the weather out there, Craig? It's like two
Yeah,
old
that's
blokes.
oh God. Oh, yeah. What did you do over Christmas and summer? Do you celebrate or are you low key?
Christmas Eve was fantastic. Where I got to see some really good friends I have not seen in a long time. And, I got to go over there and celebrate. And it's amazing because I was sitting down talking to my godson, and it's so weird because I remember holding him when he was a baby. And
Yeah.
he's a young man in his 20s, like tall, strappingly handsome, extremely intelligent. And it was such a great experience for me. One, I felt really old. That was kind of obnoxious of him. But two, to see like the type of individual this guy has become.
Yeah.
And that was great. And it just felt, this is a family that basically adopted me in my early 20s and brought me
Right.
in as one of their own. And while they have families of their own, so they weren't all there, enough of them were there. And it felt so comforting and nostalgic. Christmas, I made a mistake of going into to a neighborhood in Brooklyn. I'm used to like Manhattan on Christmas,
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
everything's open. Everyone's like eating Chinese food. Everyone's at the cinema. There was nothing. It was dead. I dragged my wife
Really?
all the way to this neighborhood. It was an absolute ghost town.
Wow. It's
So,
you and I have a similar story in that I have a godson also who is tall and handsome. Mitchell, shout out to Mitchell, just turned 25. He's a lawyer and those people you don't want to get a photo taken with? So he's that person because he's like, I don't know, 5, 6 inches taller than me, 100 years younger than me. Like, not just that he's 25, but he could literally be a model, right? 25, stupidly good looking, good human. I took a photo of, oh no, after his graduation, I just put up like a proud godfather. I had a proud godfather moment and went, hey everyone, this is my godson. I don't have any kids, so this is as close as it gets to me being a fucking bragging dad. I put up this photo of Mitchell. It got over 200,000 views just because he's fucking stunning. I'm like, what
that
about
is,
me?
oh, that's
Yeah.
incredible. Yeah,
Oh, like
it's a
it's
good looking's a
people go,
value add.
oh, 100%. People are like, oh, looks don't matter. I'm like, fucking bullshit. Have you seen it? It's like he's a handsome boy, and it went nuts. And what else was hilarious was, and this is something that I rang him and I went, have you seen the stats on your photo? Like, it's not me and him, it's him. And he's like, yeah. I said, what's the thing that stands out to you? So there was over 1,000 people that saved the photo. I'm like, what is that about? Like, why are all these strangers around the world saving your photo to their phone?
Oh, I don't find that a bit weird at all, actually. Wow.
I have, I have, a,
Yeah, that's
I have,
something
a,
that's something I
I
can't
have a
say I
few
would ever
theories.
do. But
No.
yeah, not saying if you're one of those people that save the photo, you're weird. I mean, you are
Yeah.
just a little bit, but not
Yeah.
much. Just slightly tipping over on the wrong end of the weird scale. But yeah, I think our entire world is based on beauty. And I don't know how much of that is, I don't know, commercialism or vanity, or maybe it's, evolution, genetic
Yeah.
compatibility. But we are attracted to all things and people that are beautiful. I think there is something, I don't want to say deeply spiritual. I don't want to go there, but there is something deeply resonant with things of beauty, like not just people. I
Uh,
mean, not to be like this guy who talks about his cats, but even my cats, if there's something that is beautiful, like a sculptor, they'll stare at it
yeah.
and they'll like tilt their head, and it's like, okay, I don't know what they're thinking. I mean, I don't know how much of an art critic my cat is. Who knows? Maybe he has very complex thoughts. Maybe he's like a, pretentious little muppet just sitting there, like, like wishing he had a glass of wine and he could say something somewhat intelligent about what he's looking at. Or maybe he just sees something I see and, like me, can't really describe it, but knows that it's compelling for him.
Yeah. Yeah, the beauty conversation is a slippery slope and a tricky door to open in a public forum because, on the one hand, we want to say it doesn't matter, which I agree with in terms of, a person's whether or not how loved a person should be or how valuable they are or their worth. Not all of that's,
Mhm.
we get that. You're not a better person because you happen to have good genetics and you're born pretty or handsome. We get that. And so in a world where the kind of the messaging is it doesn't matter. The reality is, away from the messaging, people who are attractive and tall, men who are tall, tend to get rewarded, right? And
Mhm.
that we might not like that. That might not be a message we want to hear, but it's the fucking truth. And you have a look at like the stats on, I think it was, who was it? Was somebody recently, it'll come to me, but they were talking about on dating apps. Like guys that are tall, irrespective of all of the other variables, get significantly more matches. So, or more interest or more dates or whatever it is. I just, yeah, I think that it's hardwired into us that we find some things, whether it's a waterfall or whether or not it's a piece of art, or whether or not it's a human, or whether or not it's a fucking Labrador puppy. Oh my God, get me near a golden retriever or a Labrador puppy. I'm gone. That's it. I'm done. They're the cutest things of all time. You put me in front of an aardvark, I'm like, nah, fuck your aardvark. Give me a golden retriever puppy. Shout out to the aardvark lovers. Do you know, like, and I don't want to be, it's like, I wish that wasn't, I wish I didn't feel that way, but it's like, I'm not choosing to find a Labrador puppy cute and an aardvark not. That's just something innate. That's part of how I'm wired. Just like some people are attracted to men, some people are attracted to women, some people are attracted to both. It's how they're wired. Some people fucking, you know, love motorbikes. Some people are terrified of. Like we're all different, and we all are either aroused by, or attracted to, or enamored with, or fascinated with, or curious about different things. But it's almost like you're in trouble if you don't agree with the narrative about what you should find attractive.
There's so many things I want to unpack here. First of all, I'm becoming less and less invested in whatever the narrative tells me that I should
Yeah.
be discussing or not discussing. I know I had my social media apps on my phone when I was away on holiday because I knew I didn't want to bring my iPad or whatever. And I usually keep everything on separate devices as a behavior modification tool. So during the holidays, I found myself surfing on social media way more than I normally would. And every message seems like every other message. I don't want to say every message because there are some really cool, and I'll use the word beautiful things on social media I found. But every other message is, look at what these people are doing. Aren't you outraged? Look at how they think. And people come out, well, I think this. And it's like, it's a forum where I don't have to see you. I don't have to empathize with you.
Yeah.
I don't need to engage in or demonstrate critical thinking. All I have to do is put something that is emotionally provocative and
Yeah.
incite some type of angry or fear based response. And that's that whole engagement there. I don't really care
Mm.
about that. But, talking about like things that are beautiful. And I look at
Yes.
this a little bit differently because, as we know, we've had conversations about this. Growing up, I was not what you would consider beautiful. I mean, I'm no prize now. Let's just be clear for the people who have only experienced me on audio. But I was physically deformed. I was disfigured in
Yes.
my face. So for me,
Yes.
beauty was a very interesting subject. I looked at it like, wow, I didn't even want to be beautiful. I just wanted to be normal. Like I wanted to be a
Yeah.
solid five where I didn't evoke a positive or a negative response in someone and I could pretty much go unnoticed. But I
Kind
think
of like desert boots. Do you know what desert boots are?
we had this conversation
Yeah, it's
years
like
ago.
it's a desert boot is kind of your multifunctional. It's like it's yeah, it's not a dress shoe, it's not an athletic shoe, it's like it's not ugly, it's not pretty. Some people would call it. Yeah, so you just aspired to be a human desert boot.
Just
Just
aspired to be a
functional,
human desert boot.
just go unnoticed.
That was
Yeah.
my goal, to
Yeah.
attract as little attention as I possibly could. Then I went ahead and chose public speaking as a career. So that didn't work out very well for me. But there are beautiful attributes in people that transcend appearance, obviously. And I
Yes.
think a lot of the ways that we engage with one another, increasingly engage with one another, has the potential to either draw those out or, in a lot of ways, suppress that. And what surfaces is something far more ugly. I mean, you could be, when people say looks don't matter, I used to get really angry about that because the people that used to tell me that about dating were, for the most part, very good looking people. Well, looks
Yes.
don't matter. That's like, that's like, someone who is a decamillionaire telling a homeless person that money won't make you happy. Well,
Yes.
it'll definitely change this person's experience of the world today, won't it? And so when
Yes.
I would hear that, I rejected it.
Yes.
But as I'm getting older and as I reflect upon people who I am very attracted to, not just physically,
Yes.
but emotionally and psychologically, yeah,
Yes.
there's so many attributes that do have nothing to do with physical appearance that make you highly attractive. And I think everybody has those, quite honestly. The question is the environment you're in, is it bringing it out or is it suppressing it in
I
favor of
think I
something
think
much less attractive?
we're going to make a distinction between, so if we're talking about attraction here, let's have let's have the physical attraction where the person might be a complete prick, right? But
Yes.
yeah, I mean, there's lots of people who are fucking stunning, but not
Mm-hmm.
particularly nice people, right? I'm sure, and there are a lot of beautiful, amazing people who are physically and emotionally beautiful, right? But I think that despite the message, it doesn't matter what you look like. Well, my experience is fat kid, fat kid, fat kid, very few friends, no attention from the opposite sex, nobody interested in me, da da da, all of that. And there's no self pity in this, by the way, anyone. So don't mistake the story for self pity. There's none, there's just awareness. And then I get fit and then I get strong and I lose all this weight and I start training. And for my genetic potential, I get in good shape. I'm now strong. I'm now fit. I'm now lean. I'm not a great athlete, but I'm not the worst athlete. I'm not winning, but I'm going okay. All of a sudden, I'm not socially invisible. All of a sudden, I'm not number 30 on the list of 30. I'm maybe in the top 15 now. All of a sudden. And so my lesson was, oh, Craig, when you look different, when you
Mm-hmm.
look better, people like you more. Craig, when you lose weight, when you're lean, when you're less ugly, when you're less whatever, this is my story to me, then you're more desirable. People want you more. People are attracted to you more. Girls actually notice you. Girls even want to talk to you. Fucking hell, this is a revolution, right? And so it's very hard when you go through an experience like you did and I did, where you got rejected for how you look. And I'm not trying to compare my story to yours because you had it infinitely harder than I did. But it's, yeah, you grow up and you go, oh, well, the evidence tells me that when I look better, I'm treated better. That's my N equals one research. is
Mhm.
like the data tells me that when I'm out of shape and what people would typically label, or, back then anyway, a fat kid, then and a certain response, and then in shape are different. So it's well and good, but we kind of, our beliefs are intertwined really with our experiences more so than what some, mouthpiece over the airways tells us.
Yeah, it's really hard. It's really hard to be open to a worldview when all of your experiences have presented evidence to the contrary, and it's not just data. It it's
Yeah.
experiences that have severe emotional weight. I think the fact of being wanted and being accepted versus being rejected. I think that
Yes.
shapes all of us in highly profound ways. Yet, to your point about I've encountered people that are just so physically stunning, but their
Yes.
personalities are just not. And I've been
Yes.
about as sexually attracted to them as I am a red M&M. Totally
Yes.
neutral. I mean, everybody knows blue M&Ms are dead sexy. They are so
Yeah.
hot, but the red ones,
100%.
nah, they're just
Yeah.
yeah, just plain.
Well,
So
research told.
um, yeah, and the opposite as well. People who I might not have noticed originally,
Yeah.
but they were so kind, or they were absolutely witty, or there was something that I found gorgeous about this person, and then over time I became extremely attracted to them. So yeah, there's I think the
It
point that I'm trying to make is around what is your antidote. I've talked about that. I've talked about that film.
what do you mean? Antidote to
Well,
what?
well, I've talked about Midnight in Paris on the show before.
You are banned from talking about films or producers or books today.
What?
Yeah.
Okay,
No, no,
so
go on. I'll give you
I could go.
one Joker card. Off you go.
So one morning, I woke up. I was in Denver, right? You remember our Denver offices.
I
And my
remember.
friend Morgan, she was like, "Hey, you want to go see a film? It's at this Mayan cinema, and it's this Art Deco cinema. It hasn't been changed since the 1920s, other than like renovated, but it still has the same look. And it's like talk about things of beauty. So I'm like, yeah, let's go see a film. And we went to go see Midnight in Paris, and there's this one scene, and I've talked about it a lot because what I love about cinema is at its best, any form of art is provocative. It changes the way you think, the way you feel. At its deepest level, it changes something about you. And there was this one line where Owen Wilson, who's playing this role of a guy that was a screenwriter who went back in time. So it's this whole magical thing. He's sitting across from Gertrude Stein, and she reads she reads his novel, and she tells him what a beautiful voice he has, but then she chastises him. Says, "God, but you're such a defeatist." And he's
Mm,
arguing with her about the nature of reality. I mean,
mm,
she hasn't seen the horrors of the late 20th and 21st century. She hasn't seen the rise of the Nazi regime, so on and so forth. But the thing is, she doesn't argue with him. She agrees. But then she says something, not Gertrude Stein, but herself, but obviously Kathleen Bates. And it was this beautiful line where she said, "Yeah, but you're an artist. And it's not the job of the artist to succumb to despair. The job of the artist is to find an antidote for the emptiness of existence." And I
wow.
think that we, and I do mean we, me, are in an environment where more and more people are succumbing to something, whether it is emptiness or despair, or whether it's anger or fear. And I think there's got to be an antidote that is so important to you, not that it erases the context of reality, but makes it tolerable and
Yeah.
allows you to flourish and engage and be a human being and contribute and form bonds in spite of it, or maybe even because of it, because the stakes are so high. So that's kind of where my mind is going. Like, what are the things that make people beautiful to other people? It's
Mm.
definitely not the shit we say about one another and to one another on social media. That's definitely not it. And, I think sometimes somebody will say something that is just so abhorrent. And my first response is, how are you a freaking person? Like, are you raising kids? Are you teaching them this stuff? Like, when you tuck them in, do you tell them to find people who are vulnerable and suffering and injure them for the sheer thrill of it? Like,
Yeah.
wow. Like, do you show up at work pretending to be a normal person, but you're this? And then I'm like, wait, what is it like to be them? And maybe it's that state and that experience. And I'm not excusing any of it,
Yeah.
but maybe that experience of being them produces that type of response. And it
This
just
is a
goes
slip.
unexamined.
It's a slippery slope that that's an overused term today, Craig. Note to self. But that I'm with you. Like what you see people's behavior, and so much at the moment with the online echo chambers, and you're right, someone will come out and say something that's 100% going to be one way or the other polarizing. And so you're going to have two groups. You're going to either go yeah, Bobby, you're exactly right, fuck them. And then you're going to have the no, fuck you, Bobby group, right? And it's essentially that.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter what you say, you're like pro A and I'm pro B. Well, it doesn't matter how well you say A or sell A. I'm never going to jump off the B train onto the A train because I'm not open minded. I don't want to hear what you think. I'm here to just critique you and argue with you and all of those things. But this to me is like it's almost like this unconscious, uh, unhealthy, ongoing form of self sabotage and
Mm-hmm.
wasted potential where we are spending countless hours and countless energy on bullshit that doesn't move the needle in a good way for either side. Like there's nothing, I understand it. I understand that you're upset. I understand they're upset. I understand you disagree with them. But by the way, it doesn't matter what you say. No one's going to go, fucking hell, Bobby. That's a good point. All these years I've been wrong. I've just had a revelation. I owe it all to you. You are the light in the darkness, Bobby. How, my God, I wish I met you 5 years ago. You've just renovated my mind. That's not happening fucking ever. So, we constantly pay attention to shit that is toxic and destructive and unhelpful while simultaneously not using our energy and attention and cognitive horsepower to do things which could move the needle. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Definitely.
oh no, it's much easier for me to whinge and bitch and point the finger and complain and point out the fucking flaws in everyone else than for me to go to the mirror and go, all right, Craig, what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing about your bullshit? What do you need to own up to, Craig? And I've been working on me forever, and my list of bullshit I need to work on is no shorter because new things come up all the time. I was going to ask you, do you think that we are born like it seems to me like 5 year olds, not that you and I would know because we're not dads, but we've been around enough kids, I guess, and parents and families. Do you think that kids are inherently confident? I know there's a few variables around that context, family influence, and then they become less confident. I feel like when I was a little kid, I was very confident. Then I lost confidence when I started to realize that how I looked was not great. And then I spent much of my life at that point in time trying to get approval from, recognition, acceptance, love from people I didn't even fucking know. I cared so much about what people thought. What do you think about that?
That's an interesting question. I don't think that kids are more confident in the way that I would define confidence, but I think they are much less self conscious
Right.
because, in part, they're more present. and they don't have that internal dialogue or internal editor critic turned up at a very high volume until they go out in the world and somebody points something out to them. Like I
Yes.
know, I think I remember clearly the exact day that I figured out I was different. And it was the first day of school when I was 5,
Right.
because all the kids were asking me why I looked the way I did, but nobody was asking anybody else that question. So I thought, oh, I look different. I don't think that ever, I mean, I don't have that much vivid memories of my childhood before that, but I don't think I
Mm,
ever thought I was different. It
mm,
didn't
mm.
occur to me. So I wouldn't have had my interactions with people as a young child shaped by that knowledge, because I just don't believe I possessed it. And then my first day of school, it's like, oh, okay. And then that was my experience every single day from that point forward.
For
So,
our new people who aren't familiar with you, just explain what what they would have seen. I don't know. I'm sure you're okay to talk about this because you've spoken about it. But like there'll be people who today are listening to you for the first time. What what would they have seen those kids?
I mean, they would have seen just my lip, my nose, the shape of my teeth was just different. They were just
Yeah.
slanted.
Yeah.
So like one end of my lip was much higher than the other. My nose was um, kind of turned sideways a bit, with my
Yeah.
nostrils almost stacked, one above the other. My teeth were different. The shape of my
Yeah.
palate was different. It wasn't a cleft palate. It was something else, but it
Yeah.
could be analogous to that, you could say.
Yes.
So that's what they would have seen. And I found a couple of pictures, or my wife somehow found a couple of pictures of me when I was a little kid, and yeah, it's not like terrifying, but
Yes.
I was different enough that kids especially brought it up, and some adults as well, which was kind of interesting. I can't imagine myself commenting to a little kid on their physical appearance, but it's just the way it happens. So it does shape you.
Did you think day one of school when all of a sudden you were being inundated with questions about your appearance? Were you curious about that? Um, was it like, were these innocent questions from kids or were these loaded questions or was it a bit of everything? Like, did you
Both.
infer from that that fucking hell, am I hideous? What is,
Hmm.
what did
Yeah,
you,
both.
right,
So some of it had malicious intent. Like,
right,
why do you look like that? Why are you so ugly? Others were
right.
honest questions like, why does your face look different than just about
Yes.
every other human being, probably every human being
Ah,
I've seen up until this point? It's like, oh, okay, well, I don't know. I'm 5. I didn't even realize at this
yes.
point there was an issue.
Yes.
But the point is not about my deformed face growing up. The
Yes.
point is that things are introduced to us that
Yes.
begin to shape us once we're aware of them.
Yes.
Whether it would have been, oh my God, why is your voice so hideous? Shut up and stop singing. Or, your paintings don't look as good as somebody else, or any of that kind of stuff. And by the way, I think we need a degree of that, even at a young age and definitely on our adult life. But there needs to be kind of an equal balance of support and challenge to kind of keep us growing and being confident and self-aware and humble enough to kind of continually reflect and evaluate ourselves and move forward. But I think sometimes there are, especially things that are threatening to our sense of identity or hurt us,
Yes.
coming from people we love or people that we look to for some form of safety, those hold a lot more weight. So I think mom and dad praising your picture like that you wrote
Mm,
and they put it on the fridge may not
mm.
inspire you to be an artist. But if dad goes, oh man, God, this is, you know, if you could do anything else with your life, I know
Yeah.
you're only 6, but if you could
Yeah.
do anything else, art
Yeah.
might not be your thing. That can
Yeah.
shape you to a much greater degree.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That's kind of sad and funny. I why do you think even, people who are smart, most of our listeners are pretty smart, pretty intelligent, pretty educated one way or the other, and definitely fascinated with psychology and human behavior and understanding the self. But at the same time, I do it less than I ever have in my life, but I still do it. We all know that we don't need people's approval, but nonetheless we want it. What do you think that is about? Like, and even perhaps more importantly, why do we periodically look for approval from people who don't even fucking like us or know us? Is that just what is that? Is that a childhood thing? Is that
I
just
don't,
ingrained insecurity?
I think it's all of the above. I don't know if it's that we don't need people's approval as much as we're defined by it. We're deeply affected by it. And yes, I do believe that to a degree we need people's approval. And when I hear somebody say, I don't give two fucks what anybody thinks of me, it's like you're either delusional and you're part of the problem, or you're scared and you're very hurt. Someone hurt you, something happened to you, because human beings need each other, because if we didn't need each other, none of us would be here. We would have died out a very long time ago. We are the slowest and weakest animal on the African savanna. No fangs, no claws. All we had are these opposable thumbs. Language and collaboration is what made that whole thing work. The story of humanity is the story of social cohesion and collaboration. So I think we need it. The question is, are we defined by it? Can I take your opinion of me, evaluate it, and move forward in spite of it? I think that's the
Yeah,
question.
that's a good point. I agree, but also I think there's a lot of space between I really need attention and
Mm-hmm.
I don't give a fuck what anyone thinks, right? Like, I think you can have an awareness of what people think. And of course, do I want people to listen to this conversation and think this is a pretty good conversation? This is pretty relevant. These guys are not idiots. I'm going to keep listening. And maybe to put a message, once or twice a year in the in the TYP Facebook page and say, hey, Harps, love the stuff, right? Yeah, I love that. I want that. But I think you can simultaneously have that level of awareness and enjoy people's approval if it comes, but without being what's the word, hijacked by that need. I constantly, oh, look at what I did. I need this many comments. I need this many likes. I need this much, because a lot of people obviously with the advent of social media, their metric for measuring acceptance and approval is some number that happens on their Instagram or their Facebook page or their TikTok page or whatever it is. Yeah, I'm with you. We need collaboration. We need to belong. We need acceptance. We need team, for want of a better term. But yeah, there's this other thing, which I think is all healthy. But then there's this other end of the scale, which I think is an unhealthy psychological and emotional addiction to approval that absolutely fucking destroys lives and healthy minds. I
Yeah.
think there's a lot of mental illness around people who are hysterically driven to get some kind of virtual approval online approval.
I think we could define this conversation as being a self authoring individual. I live a self authored life. I am not dependent upon your opinions or
Right,
your approval, but
right.
I'm also not completely self directed where I'm ignorant to it. You know what I mean? So I'm not
Yes.
dependent on it, but I'm not completely insensitive or unaware. And
Yes.
and the only voice that resonates with me is my own. The only
Yes.
opinion that really moves me is the frame from my own perspective. I can take in opinions. I could be
Yes.
shaped by them. I could pay attention to them, but still at the very same time, I have this inward understanding of what's important to me and who I am, who I want to be, and how that allows me to incorporate, yet at the same time transcend those opinions and still move forward and
I, w-
act with a level of autonomy.
I was talking to a mum recently, and she was telling me about she's got, I think, 13 and a 15-year-old girl, two girls. And those girls do not give a fuck about what their mum thinks. Like, I don't give a shit if she endorses or supports or approves. They don't care. But they care the most about what their girlfriends think, about
Mm-hmm.
what boys think. It's like they care about what some boy that they don't really know or some girl that they don't really know thinks like 1,000 times more than their own mother. Like, and as she said, I hope it's a phase because, and they're just like, these two
Probably
girls,
is though.
well,
I mean,
yeah,
when you think about
probably,
why
probably.
we need each other, I mean, it, life was pretty different a long time ago. I mean, yeah, thanks,
Yes.
Captain Obvious. But if your social reference group, if your tribe didn't approve of you, you were likely going to be eaten very soon, or you were going to
Yes.
starve to death. So,
Yes.
social support and people's opinions. I mean, for the most part, I think when people go through that stage, they know that mom loves them very
Yeah.
deeply, and they've got mom. I
Yes.
think I think it is a phase because so much of their identity and sense of psychological safety anyway is shaped by by your peer groups. So
Mm,
obviously you would have an over index sensitivity to that. Not saying you should be insensitive to the feelings or
mm.
opinions of your parents, but I mean, we all go through to one degree or another some type of phase with that. And it usually, in a lot of cases, comes to an end. And you realize, oh, wow, for one, mom was right. How irritating of her. And two, yeah, this is one of, the most important people in my life. It's probably a phase.
Yeah. Yeah. It's that whole interpersonal social dynamics, how it works at different stages of people's journey, teenagers versus people in their 20s versus even now. I think sounds, I don't know how it sounds, but I'm quite careful about who I spend personal time with. Because in my work and in my kind of incidental bumping into people, seeing people around, I really try to be present and be of service and value. And there's not many days that go by where I'm not out and about and I don't get asked a question by somebody, right? Or multiple questions. Or somebody just wants to talk to me or say hello, which I'm very grateful for, very thankful. But then away from work and away from Craig, the whatever I am bloke, I just don't want to invest too much time in just, uh, for me, meaningless, just interactions. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to, I wouldn't tell who, of course, but there are some people, they're lovely. I just don't want to hang out though. I'm like, oh, this just doesn't. And it's not all about me, clearly. But when you get to the point where you go, I don't have a lot of free time, I don't have a lot of personal quiet time. And so if I do have that, I either want to be alone, I want to be with somebody that I actually really am glad that I'm there. I'm like, oh, this is good. This is better than being alone. Because for me, often, sometimes I'm in a situation a lot where I'm like, definitely being alone is better than this. Do you ever feel like that?
Yes. Yes, all the time. I
Yeah.
mean, I avoid situations where it doesn't have meaning. And sometimes what has meaning, like spoke to a friend earlier today, and we have these incredibly powerful and insightful work conversations. But there's also this nonsensical banter between the two of us. I find that highly meaningful. I find her company provocative in all respects. But there are just, other types of interactions where, I don't get physically moved like that. I don't get emotionally engaged. It's like, why am I even doing this?
Yeah.
And one of the things I struggle with is, because I've discussed this before. I think secretly, because it's not an attribute that I'm aware of a lot of the time. It's usually things that upon reflection I notice, oh, that's what that was.
Yeah,
Where I do seek approval sometimes,
of
which is
course.
so odd because the way my mind operates doesn't put a high value on approval seeking, yet I still do it. And I have a hard time saying no to things when I know I should have said no to that, not yes. So I'm
Yeah,
becoming a little bit more discerning and a little bit more willing. Like I told somebody off over the holidays that normally, I just sit with it or try to discuss things with them. And I was pretty
yeah.
harsh. And for a while
Wow.
I felt bad about that. And I was like, no, you know what? I don't have to sit here with this person out of
Yeah,
any sense of obligation or because I feel bad and listen to this person's demeaning, disgusting perspective on other human beings. I just don't need to do that.
yeah.
And I was just clear as day. But normally, I think I would have tried a different path. But yeah, the short answer is the older I get, the more discerning I am about who I spend time with and what that time consists of.
I have about five or six. They just happen to be blokes, but male friends that. Well, I have more than that, but like, and these are not best friends, but they're guys that I know, or I've known one or two of them since school. Some of them, but I've known all of them for years and years. And maybe I think it's four. I'm trying to picture them all right now. But essentially, with these guys, they have asked me between them hundreds of times the same questions. And it's always something about, how do I get in shape? How do I get lean? How do I get muscle? How do I get jacked? How do I get big? It's always, it's never the fucking meaning of life or, can you explain metaperception or let's talk about whatever, right? The nature of reality. It's always like, how do I get in shape quickly, painlessly, and without much effort? And, or they'll go, oh, I want to talk to you about food or, oh, and I just go to all of them. No, I go, no, you and I have had at least 30 or 40 conversations where you've asked me all these questions. And for years, I've given you my time, my energy, my intellectual property, my knowledge, and my kindness, and you haven't done anything with it. When you go and do something with it, and I see that you have for 3 or 4 months applied the shit that I've already told you, then come back to me and we'll talk about phase two. But until then, shut the fuck up. I don't have any new information. And they're like, oh. And I mean, they're friends, right? So I'm not, I go, you fucking know what to
Mhm.
do. No, I don't know. I go, okay, so should you eat this or that? Oh, well, of course, this. Should you sit on your ass or should you do 30 minutes cardio a day? Oh, well, because, well, are you doing it? No. Are you eating that? No. Okay, well, there's two things we both agreed on that you're not doing. Do those, get back to me in 3 months. I just think there's pointless, fucking, exhausting, redundant conversations that don't help either person, you know? And I go, dude, when you are ready to actually do it, not talk about it, not pretend, not lie to me, not lie to you, just do it and don't tell me you're doing it. Don't ring me, don't fucking message me. Just send me a photo in 4 months when you look like a fucking weapon or whatever it is that you want to do, but shut the fuck up and do the work. Because all this talking is fucking annoying and achieves achieves nothing. Have you ever done a version of that?
Well, I just realized two things. One, yeah, because I can completely relate to what you're saying. Two, I myself need to hit the gym a lot harder because I used to get questions like that all the time, but I
Right.
don't anymore. So clearly, and I used to get that not just from people I knew, but I don't know what's going on out there, but just walking around, I used to get all
Yeah.
these questions from random
Yeah.
strangers. Like I would sit
Yeah.
on the plane and the food would come out and people would go, um, so, like strangers used to go on the plane. Oh, I see you didn't eat your muffin. Should I not eat my muffin? It's like, oh, you didn't. It's like, look, first of all, it's none of my business what an adult does with their muffin or doesn't do with their muffin. Second,
Ah,
it's like I would never be able to get anything done or get any peace. Like I would have to tell people when they ask me, so what do you do for a living? Hoping it's around exercise. I'm a fundraiser for a religious cult. Would you like to discuss this more? I think you'd be perfect. And then I could
that's
just like
hilarious.
at least have them leave me alone for the next couple of hours. But that kind of stuff came to an abrupt end. I don't know when, but I don't seem to get those questions anymore.
I
So
think we're going to call this episode Muffin Guilt. I would so love it if you just lent into that. You go, of course you shouldn't eat that fucking muffin. What are you thinking? Why would you even entertain the thought of eating that muffin? Have a look at yourself. How did you end up like? What are you doing? Probably don't do that, but that
no,
would be
no,
funny.
just
That
just
would be
talk
funny.
about just talk about what did that innocent muffin ever do to you?
Yeah,
Did you ever think
exactly.
about that muffin, like who that muffin was before it ended up on your plate?
Oh, mate,
Okay,
it's good to get.
this is actually getting a little bit weird, but yeah,
Take that last little bit out, Tiff for Melissa. Mate, it's always good to catch up with you. Love seeing you. Love hanging out with you. Where can people find you and connect with you?
yeah, I'm on LinkedIn, not all the
Yeah.
time, but I
Yeah.
am there. I will get back to you, not
Yes.
straight away, but I will get back to you as soon as possible.
Well, I hope you enjoy the winter that you're in the middle of. What's the well, you're in California, right? So it doesn't really get cold. Like what is it there today? It's like what? It like
It's
seven, it's like 60
20 it's
Fahrenheit.
like 20 degrees during the day, and then no, it does drop to like 12 degrees at night, so
Are
it
we talking
fluctuates quite a
Are
bit.
we talking Celsius or
Celsius, yeah.
yeah.
Oh heavens, no, not Fahrenheit. I was just in 12-degree Fahrenheit weather over in New York City.
Wow.
That's quite a bit chillier, but yeah, it's pretty temperate out here.
Well, mate, it's always good to catch up with you. I hope you have a great year. I'm looking forward to lots of awesome conversations with you in 2026 and uh you're loved and appreciated. See you next time.